KBSC Apache Junction and K241BQ Fort McDowell.
Phoenix's funny stations.
It's a comedy calamity with the Wild Jokers starting right now. So buckle up and enjoy the ride.
And good morning and welcome to Wild Jokers. I'm Len, he's Brad, and why do you always shake your head when I say good morning?
Our regular listeners already know because every time he's like, and good morning, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, it's an early day. Some people are probably just waking up to us. They set their alarm to wake up to our show at 9 o'clock on Saturdays because they don't want to miss it.
What is Saturday morning? And I got to get them going.
Oh, man. And I mean, fortunately, we're about 3 pots of coffee deep already. Most people are barely even just, having the little alarm go off,
Well, I figured this way. Look, last night, Friday night, hey, you have a little fun, you have some toddies, you have a good time and everything. If I have to get up, everybody else has got to get up. Let's get going. Let's start the day, start rocking and rolling because we got an action-packed show. We got some details, especially with the Wild Joker Comedy Nights. Next Tuesday, the What the Hell Bar and Grill in Mesa, East Mesa, Sossman and Maine is the corner. It's on the west corner. You got to come out for the Wild Joker Comedy Night. Besides the fact we're going to have 6 or 7 marquee stand-up comedians that are national and local that are just will make laugh your pants off. But besides the fact it is your co-host, Mr. Len Noven's birthday/roast.
Yeah, thank God my birthday fell on a Friday and we decided not to do that. It worked out pretty well for me.
Well, I'm matching the old birthday blast, but it is going to be the Noven roast. So it is going to be kind of funny. So if you want to come out and join the festivities, besides the fact they're going to be ripping me a new one, you're just going to have a great evening, great drink specials. It's very affordable. Food, the cuisine at the What the Hell Bar and Grill is very good. They feed you. The pulled pork sandwich.
Well, first of all, not only is the food good, but they have breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah,
that's one of the things I like about that place because most bar and grill type of places, they just forget about lunch a lot of times. They don't even consider breakfast, and they have decent food. This place, they got it going on. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, it's all good because we've actually been there for all 3.
I was talking to Henry, the owner of the What the Hell Bar and Grill, and I said, look, you're a bar. You stay open. You have music.
Well, he's a bar owner. He's not
the
bar
owner,
bar.
But he walks
know?
around. He's as big as the bar. I mean,
I don't know about that. He's scary, dude. You better be careful.
Well, yeah, he's always armed, so he is kind of scary. There's kind of something wild about him. But the thing I was talking about, I was like, okay, you're open until 2 a.m. traditional bar hours. Your breakfast starts I believe it's 7 a.m. I was like, Henry, that's only about 4 or 5 hours. You literally could probably sleep in one of the booths, have a great evening, and then recover enough for breakfast at the What the Hell Bar and Grill. That's how awesome it is. And the breakfasts are fantastic. I recommend the breakfast burrito. So mark it next Tuesday, which is April 29th, What the Hell Bar and Grill. And then we cannot exclude Cactus Jackson, the world's biggest, Phoenix's only city that is a cul-de-sac or it's a town.
Easy for you to say.
Easy for me to say this morning.
It's the world's largest cul-de-sac, and it happens to be in Phoenix.
It's Saturday morning.
And you're the one up here going, "Hey, how are you?"
Well, yes, I'm wide awake, but I'm still a little blurry in the brain.
Get the cobwebs off.
But Cactus Jackson, Ahwatukee. It's Elliott and 48th Street.
Yeah, that's right.
And got to come down for that. It's going to be different comedians. We never really stockpile the same ones. There's always a mix.
We try to get some variety in there. So if you come to any of our shows, you won't see the same show twice.
You can bounce around a little bit. So that's Cactus Jacks. You must come out. May 1st, we're doing it again at in Ahwatukee. So get on down. If you can't make it to East Mesa, you got to go to Ahwatukee. So that's
easy for you to say.
That's that. I'm having a heck of a time.
You need some more coffee.
I do.
Maybe you've had too much.
No, I've only had a pot.
Did you do a Starsky and Hutch and pour something in your coffee? Dude?
No, I'm not that wiry.
That's not your style anyway. So
I'm a good boy. All I do is
you are.
I like a couple toddies and some cocktails, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Well, we have a very great interview. We have tonight, as a matter of fact, Wild Horse Pass.
That's right.
Here in Chandler, we have Tommy Davidson and David Allen Greer. If you remember the show In Living Color.
How can you forget it?
That really is
it was kind of, it's interesting because it was kind of the good times of our youth. Like Good Times was real cutting edge in the 70s. Remember,
that was about
J.J. Walker,
right.
He was actually just on Letterman the other night talking about that show, how Norman Lear was really like ahead of his time and really willing to be controversial. And, if you think about it, In Living Color was kind of the same thing.
It very much.
There weren't too many shows that were mostly black actors with the one token white guy.
Right, and that was a period of time, if you remember, on the scene at that In Living Color was very good at that. But Arsenio was hitting the stage. This was
He's
all
back on again.
Yeah, I know he's back on again.
Crazy.
But this was all during our late high school, early college years. And it was a pivotal time, I think, in our pop culture because in Living Color, you see how many Jim Carrey, for
everybody
instance,
from that show has gone somewhere.
blasted.
Everybody.
It had a high success rate. It's like early years, or it's still today.
Well,
I
you had
guess.
the
Saturday Night Live.
I don't know, a handful of the Wayans brothers were on there. There's so many of those guys. I can't even tell you.
They're like Earth, Wind, and Fire of comedians.
Right.
I mean,
they really are.
There's 20 of them.
Yeah, at least. You had a half a dozen Wayans brothers on there. You had Tommy Davidson, David Allen Greer. You had, like you said, Jim Carrey. And then a host of other people that we could go down a laundry list. And then they had all kinds of guests that used to pop in.
Yeah.
But,
and that's the one thing we're doing on the show. We're actually being joined by Tommy Davidson. And we're going to actually cut to an interview we did earlier in the week here momentarily. But we're doing that. And also on segment number 2, this is a part of our tribute to radio and comedy mixed together of morning men across the country that just made us laugh. We're going local because we did, Shadow Stevens, and we reached out to Rick Dees, which is more the L.A. and national thing. But our local, even though he's originally from Nevada, but he is, to me, homegrown because he is kind of Mr. Phoenix, Mr. Arizona's way.
Well, they call him the morning mayor for a reason.
Yes.
I mean, you don't get that title just by accident.
Right.
You have to be pretty highly regarded, especially in our wild world of radio.
Well, yeah, and also every single morning you wake up and you have to be, quote unquote, as I said, the human cup of coffee on air. And you have to be creative. You have to be funny. And the one other thing, when you do that line of work, and a lot of folks don't know it because they've never lived in radio, but the bottom line is you have to put everything aside in life because your responsibility is to give humor to the masses. And that's one thing people forget. These folks are human. They have bad days, but they can never show it. And
you definitely got to shake babies and kiss hands like nobody's business.
So, yes. So we'll be catching up with Dave Pratt here in about 20 minutes or so. So why don't we do this? Let's not waste any time because tonight, Tommy Davidson, David Allen Greer, Wild Horse Pass here in Chandler. We're going to be hanging out with them live this evening. We encourage you to get out to the casino and go check it out. Get your tickets at Wild Horse Pass.
Yeah, doors are open at 7. The show starts at 8 sharp. And there is not a bad seat in the house, by the way.
All right, here's our interview with Tommy Davidson we did earlier this week. And welcome to Wild Jokers Radio. We're actually pleased to announce we are promoting a great show this weekend, Brad. I've been talking all about this.
2 really funny guys I've been watching since I was a kid.
Yeah, same here.
Same here. Really funny guys.
We're like the early 40-somethings crowd, and this definitely has influenced our radio careers and humor. We're joined on Wild Jokers Radio by Tommy Davidson. Tommy, how are you this fine morning?
I was wondering who you guys were talking about.
We're talking about you.
Yeah, man.
I was like, who is this?
We're excited.
I want to hear who this is myself.
We're so excited to have you coming out this Saturday, April 26th, to Wild Horse Pass. How's the tour been treating you? How's the road?
It's really good. Mostly it's just good being back with David,
Mm-hmm.
Like, all of us haven't had a chance to work again together since we lived in college, so every chance we get, we get together because there was nothing like that. There was just something that, we shared,
It's great. It's interesting. You've had such an interesting career, and one thing, Len and I were just talking about some of the impressions you do. And I know people always ask you to do Sammy Davis and Sugar Ray and stuff, but what's your favorite impression that you really do or have done over your career?
Probably right now, President Obama.
I like that.
One of the reasons why is he can take something that's unimportant and make it actually sound important. For instance, let's say Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. If you look at Frosted Flakes as a cereal, as a brand, and you look on the TV and you see the box of cereal, it's part of an essential breakfast. You see it's with a carafe of orange juice, milk, bananas, and various fruits. So it's a part of the breakfast, you see. And Tony the Tiger is actually involved with physical activity with children. Not like Michael Jackson, that's a whole other issue. But he addresses one of the needs of American youth right now, which is youth obesity, which is a problem. So he's involved with children on their level. He can jet ski, he can skateboard, he can break dance. He can do pretty much what any kid can do in the country. And also, if you notice, he wears this really swanky bandana. So he's also very stylish. So not only are Kellogg's Frosted Flakes part of an essential breakfast, not only is Tony the Tiger involved with physically with children, but Kellogg's Frosted Flakes are great
That is great.
That's priceless.
That's fantastic.
That is good.
Tommy, let me ask you, especially on the impersonation side, and we're going to do this. When we do a segment on Wild Jokers here, it's like, this is your life. So we'll go back and go forward and go all over the place. We're kind of like a show on Tourette's over here. But I want to talk, what was your first impression when you were starting out doing stand-up? What was your first impression that you
I
discovered?
did mostly singing impressions.
Oh, nice.
You know, mostly singing impressions, Al Jarreau, you know, you know, and I do Rick James.
I love Rick James.
Rick
Al
James.
Green.
Oh, nice.
So stop being alone, stop being alone, help me alone, Susan. You know, but you know, those impressions probably about 10 years ago, I just realized that. See, I was about 7 or 8, you know, 9 when these singers were on top.
Yeah,
and so
like
I
early
comedy
70s.
in my 20s.
Yeah, early 70s
You know?
you're talking about is when these guys
Yeah,
were. Yeah.
so I got into comedy in my 20s, which was like the late 80s, early 90s. So I'm doing these impressions of singers that were on the charts 30 years ago.
Oh, that's funny. People are looking
So
at
it's
you like, who?
Like after a little while, I was like, you know what? I gotta learn me some new songs.
Well, you know, like the Rick James thing for some reason is very retro. I see a lot of the youngsters, a lot of the my fiance, her daughters, for instance. Rick James is hip, so actually that impersonation is still so relevant in today's pop culture. It's simply fantastic. Now, talking about your television career within Living Color, where you actually mentioned that. Such a creative force in that period of time. I remember when it was, I was actually in high school at that period of time, with the sketch comedy and things of that nature. What was your favorite sketch to have done on their creativity, you know, the creative side of it with the writing and just the concept?
I think probably MC Hammer, or between MC Hammer and Michael. I can't choose. It's hard. But probably between MC Hammer and Michael Jackson and Sugar Ray Leonard, because no one did Sugar Ray Leonard.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
And no one has still.
Right.
You know, so that probably was those. Sugar Ray is probably my favorite because it was just so unique. Nobody can do it but me.
Right. Yeah, it's not an easy one. He's got a pretty unique sound too. I mean, he's got a very distinct voice, you know.
Very, very distinct.
Yeah. So,
Very.
you know, I wanted to ask you, Tommy, this is kind of more on the serious note. One thing I noticed in your bio, which I was blown away by, is that you were adopted, but not only adopted, but adopted by an interracial family in the 60s. I mean, that had to be way ahead of its time. That wasn't happening too often back then, I'm guessing.
Nah, that happened in '66, bro. You know, and I, you know, went from Greenville, Mississippi in '66 to, you know, all white Fort Collins, Colorado. Moved from there to all black DC with all white family. So it's been interesting.
Yeah, I can imagine that's probably helped your career out a little bit too, with some of the things you've seen and experienced. You know, just the difference in, you know, being on both sides of the fence, really.
Oh yeah, a lot of stuff was already there, just because of the way my life was designed.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, already I came into entertainment with all these different, you know, viewpoints. And it wasn't something that was contrived or something that I had to try to do. It was already just kind of part of me. So,
and that's one thing I notice. When you see things, especially when it comes to writing, especially when you see it from both sides of the equation, I think that would give you just that much more to pull from when it comes to your comedy and your art.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, it's given me a really well-rounded audience. And I think it's mostly because the material is just like sort of like a manifestation of what's going on inside of me, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
My multiple experiences based on how I was raised.
Well, you're listening to Wild Jokers Radio. We're hanging out live right now with Tommy Davidson, who's going to be appearing with David Allen Greer at Wild Horse Pass this Saturday, April 26th. Get your tickets. Beautiful Chandler, Arizona. What was your first gig when you first started out? What your first gig you started out with?
My first gig was at the worst strip club in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, so it's always a good story with your first gigs.
And a friend of mine who grew up with me, I had just got a new job as an assistant chef at a Ramada Inn, which is a great job, you know.
Right.
And I called him to tell him the good news, and he told me, "Man, you stupid," you know. He said, "If I were you, I'd have been out to Hollywood." He said, "You're the funniest dude I ever seen in my life." So he worked at this club. So about a month later, he calls me and says, "I talked to managers and letting you go on the stage with a mic."
In a strip club.
So I went down there, and I was looking at him like he's crazy, and I said, the manager came out and said, okay, is this the guy? All right, here go to Mike. And I looked at my friend and said, what am I supposed to do? He said, I don't know. Just go out there and open your mouth. And honest to God, the first thing that came out of my mouth, people laughed.
Nice.
I haven't stopped since then.
Nice. And that's not an easy crowd. They're looking for naked women. They don't want a funny dude on
they
stage.
are.
You know what I'm saying?
And I played there steadily for like 3 months.
Wow.
So I was the actual comedian on the weekends there.
So you're like a natural is what you're trying to tell us.
You know what? I'm going to say yeah.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. I'm serious. That's impressive. You don't hear that.
When we've interviewed so many of the comedians, and they've said that either people have it or they don't.
Well,
the
yeah, but think about it. Most of them tell us they start out on some little hole-in-the-wall comedy club. They don't go to, like, the nudie bar and try. I mean, that's really working uphill. I mean, that's like going – you might as well go to an old folks' home. I mean, seriously. I mean, the people there, old folks, they care more about shuffleboard and bingo. At the strip club, they're looking for boobies. They're not looking for some funny guy on stage. That's impressive, Tommy. I got to say. Yeah,
it was. I think what it started me out being a very engaged, very aggressive, comic.
Yeah, and I see that. Well, yeah, you have to have some thick skin, especially if you're in a cabaret and they're looking for tatas. I guess.
It wasn't nothing nice. It's where all the drug dealers were.
I'm sure of it.
The line, bro.
Now, going from your cabaret performances going forward, when was the true discovery? When did everything go fast forward? Did you move to Los Angeles, or was it some fate meeting?
Yeah.
How did it happen?
I moved to Los Angeles, and it was about a 3-year process of me finally getting something that meant something. When I finally got in Living Color, I had, gone through the ringer with pilots and, just trying to get different parts. And I finally landed in Living Color, and I haven't looked back. Have not looked back.
Because it did spawn your movie career as well. I mean, you were definitely Ace Ventura, Booty Call, just off the top of my head.
Yeah, he's done. He was also the voice of Oscar Proud.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
From the Proud Family
cartoon.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. That's pretty cool.
I saw a Space Ghost reference on there somewhere too. I was thumbing through earlier. And what was your favorite actually after In Living Color? What is your favorite project you've worked on after that successful show?
Right now I'm doing my favorite project.
Just on the road?
Black Dynamite, the animated series.
Yeah, that's
It's on Adult Swim on the Cartoon
Network.
Oh
yeah.
That's the one where isn't it Cream Corn, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's my most ambitious piece right now.
That's cool. Oh, that's great.
That is great. So you're doing that, and now you're on the road again.
Yeah, just out there on the road, developing TV show, working on a new comedy special, working on films. One main film that I'm working on is Sammy Davis Jr. So that's
really?
a lot of
that'd be really cool.
work.
When's that supposed to come out?
You know what? You cross your fingers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Cross your fingers.
I'm a fan. We're definitely Rat Pack fans over here. We can appreciate that group.
Oh yeah, it's going to come out right when it's supposed to.
Great.
that's Hollywood right there for you.
That's the answer, right?
Do you have anything else you would like to plug as why we have you captive? Because, of course, we're plugging away the fact you're appearing at Wild Horse Pass with David Allen Greer, this Saturday, April 26th at Wild Horse Pass. Get your tickets now. We'll have all the info coming up here on the ticket information and whatnot. But what projects though that people can look for you besides the Sammy Davis movie?
Look for the most current one, which is Black Dynamite.
Okay.
Which is going to be premiering our new season in July.
Nice.
Okay, mark that down.
Currently running Chocolate Sundays and special like on Showtime. And if you want to know about the shows I'm doing around the country, it's TommyCat.net.
Okay, that's good enough.
TommyCat.net.
TommyCat.net.
And you can reach me there, and that'll hit you on my Twitter, my Facebook, and all that stuff. But I'm around. I am doing it. I'm like the Michael Jordan of comedy.
I love it. Well, this is Brad, Tommy. I just wanted to let you know I'm definitely going to be at the show this weekend. Hopefully I'll get to meet you, and we're really excited about having you on our show. And thank you so much for your time.
Oh, guys, you got it.
So really, once again, Tommy Davidson, thank you so much for being on the Wild Jokers. We really appreciate your time, and we'll see you Saturday night, man.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, Tommy.
Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Wild Jokers on 24/7 Comedy for Phoenix, 1260 AM, 96.1 FM.
I don't want to go outside. I want to stay and play video games.
Do you have a child that says this? This is a chronic condition of couch potatoitis. Get your child out of the house and to Superstition Farm. Dairy farm tours, hay rides, petting zoos, horse lessons, and farmers market is all at Superstition Farm. Get your child enrolled in farm camp that's every month throughout the summertime. Mention Wild Jokers Radio and you get a complimentary hay ride. Call 602-432-6865 or superstitionfarm.com.
Autobahn Mortgage, 602-980-LOAN. That's 602-980-5626. Call Autobahn Mortgage for all your commercial and residential mortgage needs. We are friendly, fast, and efficient. 602-980-LOAN. You can also see us on the internet, www.autobahnmortgage.com. Call us today, 602-980-LOAN, 602-980-5626.
If you have a place of business or private party, look no further to our Wild Joker Comedy Nights. Why book the same old stuffy classic rock cover tune band when we can bring you laughter with our Wild Joker Comedy Nights? Give a call at 602-303-5869. Once again, 602-303-5869. National and local comedians we bring to your place of business, party, wedding, or a mitzvah. You name it, we do it. It's the Wild Joker Comedy Nights at 602-303-5869.
And it's Orangutan Home Services, featuring heating, air conditioning, home security, plumbing, and much, much more. Call them today, 602-906-0111. Orangutan Home Services, 602-906-0111. Call us today.
Welcome back to Wild Jokers Radio here on 24/7 Comedy Radio for Phoenix, AM 1260, 96.1 FM.
All right, welcome back to Wild Jokers Radio. Brad, this is a very exciting feature for me.
Monumental event.
Well, we've been kind of doing a three-part kind of a deal when it comes to a tribute of a mixture of comedy and radio together. To me, this is something that really impacted my life growing up and actually launched me into radio. That's why I actually have gone through one marriage and I'm working on a second.
Well, you're not going to go through this one. This one's going to work.
I hope it's going to work. She understands the beast, at least, when it comes to time.
The lovely Michelle.
The lovely Michelle, of course. I'd like to introduce to Wild Jokers Radio a living legend here in Phoenix, Arizona, Mr. Dave Pratt. Dave, welcome.
Boys, how you doing? Thanks for having me on. I know that you've had big hitters on. I mean, Shadow Stevens and Rick Dees. What the hell am I doing here?
Well, you're the morning mayor, man. Come on.
To me, the reason I picked you, because I wrote the show, and this was my concept. I'm Mr. Concept Show guy over here.
The reason I picked
you is, he's the money counter. The reason I picked you more than anything, you brought pride to this community in morning radio. And I love that because I'm somebody who is been on and off in Arizona since the late 70s, but I have roots here from family. But I always loved it here, more so than Los Angeles, California. That was, I was born there, but this was where my heart was. But you really are the real McCoy. There's so many folks that are on air here in this town, and not to slam them, but they don't support our community. Dave, you support this community, and I think that's my favorite thing about you.
Len, you know what? I love Arizona. Love it through and through. I'll never leave Arizona. All four of my kids, born in Arizona. Kids I don't even know about were born in Arizona from my happy days, era. But no, I love Arizona. I'm a loyalist to Arizona, and just like you, I mean, you've worked in Los Angeles, Lynn. You've been in other markets, and you chose to come back to Arizona. That's the way I am. And our network, we're spreading outside of Arizona now in terms of a footprint and impact, but I'll always be an Arizona guy and will always be an Arizona company.
Well, now talk about your project you got going on here. Now we're in this beautiful. We're actually the away team. I should be wearing my dark jersey right now.
I mean, we're so used to being on a couch somewhere or in some little
closet
corner of
somewhere.
a bar.
Yeah, and Brad, I want to tell you guys don't have to dress up for me.
Yeah,
really. I mean, you come in here right after doing the oil change on your car. You both look great.
We are blue collar heroes here. Yeah. I have over 92 flannels, so it's kind of a trademark.
Usually I'm actually a little more dressed, to be honest with you. But today, I don't know, I took a little break on the dressing up a little bit.
Len, hang on to that flannel. Pearl Jam's coming back.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That was good. That was good.
I was wearing flannel before Pearl Jam.
Brad, as for you, all you need is a sign to spin out here on Camelback, and you'll be monetizing in no time.
There you go.
But we truly look like radio guys. We look like we should be living on the streets.
Right.
Yes. We have to keep the rep up, the image of that. But let me ask you, for folks, we have so many people new to the community. And number one, let's start with what you're doing now. But it's kind of like this is your life. How did it get started? Because there's always that impact moment when you get into entertainment, you have an opportunity.
Yeah, well, like you, Lynn. I mean, you were in big-time radio, with Clear Channel in big markets, and I was lucky enough here to have a certain level of success with big corporation radio, with CBS and others, and I loved it, and I was blessed for that era in my career, and I'll always be grateful. But in 2008, when the economy started to change, the public companies like CBS and Clear Channel.
Yeah, it was a big shift.
The economy hit them hard, and they started to downsize. And basically, no matter what talent, was available, if you had an extra zero on your paycheck, you were done.
Yeah.
So CBS in 2008 in Phoenix, our show was top of the revenue chain. We were rocking, having a great time. I loved it. But the economy hit, and CBS said, Dave, we love you.
Right.
You got that extra goose egg on the end of your check, and we got to cut it. And I said, guys, do you want to just cut it, or do you want me to defer payments, kind of like an athlete, something like that?
Like the Arizona Diamondbacks did for all those years.
Yeah, right. And I said, guys, I'm humble. I'm understanding, more than willing to do this. And they said, Dave, basically corporate radio, homogenized, sterile radio. They said, we're going to move you to a different numbers column in New York. So you'll go from talent column to write-off column.
Ouch.
There goes the rest of your contract. But you know what, guys? It wasn't all bad. I was left with 2 years hanging on my contract, and time is a dangerous thing. I think time is a more dangerous thing than even money. I had 2 years to think. I had 2 years to humble myself, 2 years to learn. I hung around some really smart people, and I got into new media. After my contract was up with CBS, I had a choice. Do I want to spend the rest of my life looking in the rearview mirror and waxing over my past? Or do I want to drive a little bit faster and actually look through the front window and look towards the future? And I decided to embrace myself and digest my career with new media. And we started the Double Wide Network.
Which is a great name, by the way.
I love the name.
I think it's hilarious.
Do you guys know where it came from?
No.
Got to tell you this story. You'll love it.
Please.
When I started in radio, when I came down here to Arizona, right, I was 19 years old. I had my Billy Ray Cyrus mullet going.
All right.
Right, Brad, never was I blessed with a voice like yours. You are just ticking me off to no end today. All right?
That's an honor to hear that.
You and Len come in here with these booming Barry White voices, and I'm like, what the hell?
I've never got that one in my life.
Oh, man. So I come down here. I'm 19 years old. I knock on every radio station door in town. I couldn't get a gig. Nobody'd hire me. I sucked, guys, even worse than I do now.
Well, you have red hair. That could have something to do with it.
That may have done it, right? So finally, I got a job at KUPD. KUPD was nowhere at the time. Guys, not even top 20. And
Wow.
Phoenix was not
That's
the market.
okay. Is that where the trailer came from? I'm putting the
yeah,
pieces together now.
man,
Saying,
you're
winner,
putting
winner,
it
chicken
together.
dinner. That's right. I remember now.
All right. So KUPD wasn't even top 20 then. It was nowhere. And Phoenix wasn't even a top 20 market. We weren't a city of 4 million like we are today. So they said, Dave, come on down. You're going to have a job. You'll be a janitor. The station's in Guadalupe. I'm like, what the hell? What do you mean Guadalupe? This is Phoenix, man. Yeah. So I go trucking out there to Guadalupe, and I couldn't find a station, you guys. I couldn't find a station. And Pablo there with his vegetable cart or whatever, I asked him, I said, radio station. And I'm trying to use the best form of communication
Spanglish.
I possibly can with this guy.
The hand signals.
And he points upward to 3 radio towers. And so I went in that general direction, and at the bottom of these radio towers is this Hogan's Hero looking
I know nothing.
double wide trailer, and guys, it had barbed wire fences. I'm not kidding, going all the way around. It looked like a prison, like a small prison.
That's really funny.
So on my little sports car, I go driving out there, clunk, clunk, clunk over this dirt road, and there's a guy sitting on the porch looking like Jed Clampett in a rocking chair, smoking on a Marlboro.
Oh, man.
I said, is this KUPD? He said, come on in. He gave me the combination to the lock on the gate. I go inside. That was KUPD.
Wow.
Long story short, within 2 years, we took that station from outside of the top 20 to number 1 in Phoenix. And within a short time, we became the #1 station in America.
Wow.
From Rolling Stone magazine and Billboard. Here's where the humor comes in for you. Once we hit Rolling Stone, every group coming by for interviews, whether it's Fleetwood Mac or Bon Jovi or Asia or 38 Special or whoever it was, they thought the double wide thing was frickin' hilarious. Are you kidding?
That's priceless.
They want to take photos, and this double wide thing became this huge kind of icon in the rock business. The reason I named this double wide is it's a throwback tribute to the way that I feel, and I think you guys feel, radio should be. Out of that little dingy, beat-up double-wide trailer, we got the best radio out of that.
It's the gritty roots of radio.
Brad, you're right.
Yeah.
But you can't lose your roots.
So it's a throwback. A lot of people think double-wide means a blend between traditional and new media, and that's fine, but it's actually a throwback to my trailer days.
And it's a really cool story because I did spend some time in Guadalupe myself. Right, actually, 6 months after you left, and I was like, I'm looking around doing overnights going, oh, my Lord, I'm hiding under the console. Look out!
And by that time, Len, you were in the Palace.
That was the new Casa.
You weren't in the double-wide
But
trailer.
there's still ghosts in that building, and it was very strange. I still had nightmares about it doing overnights. It was just quite something. Now, this is a dream studio for me. I mean, to me, it's spacious.
Yeah, we walked in
up
here, and we were all wide-eyed like little children.
Now, talk about your programming. I mean, this is something I want to promote, and that's one thing about the Wild Jokers. We own the show, so we can talk about anything we want. So I want to promote what you're doing because this is, number one, I love the view.
The view is unbelievable.
The Valley of the Sun here, where we're sitting in Old Town Scottsdale, is quite breathtaking. I mean, this is heaven to me.
Yeah. I was saying that the only thing that can make the view better be a couple of naked girls. That's about it.
Only you, Brad. Only you.
I'm single. Remember, you're engaged, not me, man.
Yeah, I know. I got to be a good boy now.
If you book a show here, you get the naked women.
Perfect. All right. You didn't tell us that before.
If you don't book a show, you get a couple naked guys. It's completely
up to you. Come on. No thanks.
Completely up to you. Yeah, and beautiful here. We're at 69th Street in Camelback. We're on the 6th floor. We started double wide in just this room that we're in, guys, with 4 sponsors who believed, and we're old school. We decided to grow responsibly. We saved our pennies, and we were able to add another studio we did. We were able to add another show we did. We started with just my show called Dave Pratt Live. Today we have 55 shows booked from all around the nation. How about that?
That's amazing.
Yeah, we hope to have 100. We hope to hit the triple digits by the end of the year, have 100 shows on the double wide network. And the big expansion is outside of Arizona. So we're an Arizona company, getting back to our conversation, Len. Mm-hmm. But it's a point of pride for Arizona because we're going to have shows from all over the world. We have a show from Belgium.
Wow.
We have shows from Brazil, Canada, North Carolina,
That's
California.
really cool.
It is. And as far as categories, I think you guys will like this. When we started the company, we decided to be completely unorthodox, anti-corporate. We don't have any restrictions on show categories. Everybody owns their own show, just like you guys own your own show.
Right.
Everybody gets to pick their own category. We don't even do contracts. We
free form, huh?
We are completely free form. We figure that a show can come on board, they can have fun. If they ever want to leave, it's because of one of 2 reasons. Either A, we didn't do our job, which won't happen, or B, life happens. We just had a show host leave because they have to take care of their aging parent. Well, what kind of network's going to say, sorry about your mom, you're in a contract.
You're in a contract
you
for 2 more years,
some compassion
buddy.
with that one.
Right.
Guys, I hate that crap. So we are completely anti-corporate, and it's a fun atmosphere. Hopefully you guys feel comfortable today. I can tell you do by the way you're dressed.
I'm just I wore my jammies, basically. I'm wearing flannel.
Yeah.
I know that's
your uniform.
That's a stretch.
We call it the Len uniform.
Yeah, since I have 92 of them.
Well,
but
you do have a flannel for every season.
I do. Every day of the
And then you
month.
color coordinate on occasion. You wear your Coyotes colors with your Coyotes hat, and you got it all figured
Well,
out.
I actually have my rotation of my Diamondback hat with my Coyote hat, and then the Cardinal hat, and then
It
the
works.
flannels.
It's
and
working
it's
for
an
you.
ensemble.
I can tell you guys want to do a show on fashion. I get it. But yeah, down here everybody has complete freedom, and that's the way we love
That's
it.
awesome.
We're
though.
a family company.
And
Family
also
company.
one other thing about the transition of radio, I like getting the perspective because I love the fact, growing up, you listen to a morning show or listen to a show, the jocks had character, the shows had personality, and we were talking about robotic nowadays, how radio is transformed. With what you're doing, is it true to me, before we even started chatting, this has been the new transition to radio. I was a radio guy that used to just make $6, $5 an hour and get hired on by a program director. But the new era of radio for radio talent is going out and basically producing, selling, and owning your own show, I feel.
It's doing exactly what you guys are doing now, and that's why I respect you so much. You are hitting the street, and you're doing radio the way that it should be done. You're not just sitting there with a binky in your mouth waiting for a paycheck every 2 weeks. You're going out, you're earning it. You're taking care of your listeners, which is the heart of any good radio show, and you're doing it by hard work and elbow grease and a love for what you do. That's the way that radio should be today. Mm-hmm. Most radio people that have grown up in the business, they're used to just sitting back, doing a 4-hour music show and getting their check. There's a big eye-opener coming their way so many times over the past 3 years. I've talked to fellow friends in radio, and they've said, like, Dave, no, it's not going to happen to me. How many times have I heard that? I know radio's changing, but it's not going to happen to me. Then it happens to them. And then they call up and go, Dave, it happened to me.
Right.
What do you have for us? And I'm like, our door is open. Please come on over. But you have to fend for yourself.
It's funny that you say that because I'm originally from Detroit. And as we all know, the automakers have had their share of dilemmas and dramas. And, in the old days, you had just human beings that were the ones making the cars. Now, 80% of the car is made by robots. And it's kind of like what you're saying. I mean, with the technology advancements we have, there's a lot of programming that's just done on a computer. You get a guy with a little voiceover and pop in a little station ID here and there, and that's become what radio is. And it's kind of interesting because if you look at so many other businesses, that's what has happened over the last 30 years. Everything gets automated, becomes less human, and quite frankly, I think it becomes less interesting, kind of sanitized.
It's all automated, Brad. Even record selection, they call it record selection. I know records aren't, but they call it record selection. It'll come from a hub in Los Angeles or New York or Chicago for rock, typically Nashville for country, and you'll have one person sitting there deciding what 50 or 100 stations in a chain will play, and they send it automated by computer saying, here's your song list for today, and then the monkey behind the board in whatever market either plays it or they record it, and that's it.
Yeah. It's pretty brainless.
It's just vanilla, homogenized, sterile radio that I can't stand.
Now, we're hanging out live here on the Wild Jokers at Dave Pratt's Double Wide Network here in Old Town Scottsdale. I got to ask you a couple just personal questions because I know a lot of folks want to know this. All the radio you've done, your favorite band or artist of all time you got to interview or be around?
Wow. I'm a news and information junkie, Len. That might surprise people because I was in music radio for quite some time. So I'm a news and info junkie. But some of my favorite groups, I'm going to go a little old school on you here.
Fine.
Stuff I grew up with, man. I love Boston.
Oh, nice.
And since Brad Delp left, I think it's a crime that they're still touring.
Yeah.
Love Tom and the boys and Barry, but Brad Delp was the iconic voice of Boston.
It's kind of amazing when bands try to do that.
Yeah.
Journey was successful, I think. A little bit.
Yeah,
they kind of were, but it is weird.
Know?
I know what you mean.
Alice, I'm not as much of a fan of Alice's music as I am Alice.
Right.
We own a restaurant together. You know that, right? Alice Cooperstown, and we're buddies.
Have a couple T-shirts and ate there many times.
Been there
many
times.
Couple spirits,
Yep.
Thank you for supporting my family.
Of course,
appreciate
we
that. But yeah, I got to throw him in there. But some of that early stuff that I graduated in '79 from high school. I know I'm an old blister. But I think for most of us, the music that we grew up on is probably the music that brings back the warm, fuzzy memories for us.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But having said that, I love country as well. I did country for 7 years. And, I was really lucky in country because in rock, we won the Billboard Rock Station of the Year. Mm-hmm. And I was lucky enough to get the personality awards and all that kind of stuff. And then we did the same in country. That's what really blew people away. Because they kind of pigeonholed me, Len, as a rock guy, and then when we did it in country, it's like, really?
See, the thing that's interesting, you say that, is it makes sense to me. Because if you look at rock and roll of the 70s and 80s, a lot of those folks that grew up with that genre of music in the 90s and forward went to the country format because it was more traditional, like almost rock progressions, like Travis Tritt, for instance. Sure. You listen to him, you could cross him over with the Eagles since they did the Common Thread thing and the whole bit, where your classic rockers and country folk kind of blended together. So to me, it actually made sense.
Hey, look, Kenny Chesney has as much pyro today as Kiss ever dreamed of.
Isn't that amazing? It's amazing to me how a lot of these bands have done that.
And that's very Jimmy Buffett style music with all the beachy stuff and everything, too. So I'm going, this is not Waylon Jennings and Merle Haggard. We're talking, Kenny Chesney's totally different. I mean,
the question that I would ask country artists is the same question that you just asked me, Len. I would say, hey, who are some of your favorite groups? Mm-hmm. And you would get Blake Shelton and Tim McGraw and Miranda Lambert and Taylor Swift telling me, Oh, Kiss, Motley Crue,
Yeah, right.
Pearl Jam,
Exactly.
Isn't that funny?
That's kind of where I went with it.
Yeah.
And my previous wife, she was like, "Wow, that's quite a shift." I said, "No, it's not." I said, "No, it's not." Because you look at it, those country artists love the stuff that you were doing in the '80s. Now, the Sex Machine Band.
Oh, do we have to do this?
Okay, because you said you're more of a news guy. I had to go down that road based on this.
All right.
Because I know so many of your adoring fans want to know, how did it start? I mean, when did it all transpire to have a band?
The biggest member of our band were the listeners who got the joke. Listeners knew that it was a joke, and that was the beauty. I can't sing, guys. I don't play a musical instrument. I suck. I can't dance, but I can write a couple good tunes. So I did. Funny stuff, kind of like Spinal Tap. We started this as a joke, just
awesome.
a sarcastic play on all the 80s hair bands that thought that they were it. So we started the Sex Machine Band. It came from James Brown, who was on my show, and he did a Fall Down, Kiss Myself, I'm a Sex Machine.
Yeah,
and I said,
right.
okay, it's the name of my
That's
band.
it. Oh, that's great.
So
It's
we
so funny when you said that. I'm like, that's exactly where that came from.
Oh, Brad, I'm telling you, the band was really good. I'm the one that sucked.
That's
all
funny.
right. And having said that, we sold more albums than any band, local band in the history of Arizona. We were playing Coliseum shows and arena shows, Cheap Trick and Bad Company and Blue Oyster Cult. They were opening for us.
That's hilarious.
It was.
See, if I didn't ask the question, I was going to get tarred and feathered. It's a great story.
But
It
the
is a good
best
story.
part about the whole Sex Machine Band story, the listeners were the ones that had the sense of humor. They would show up and they would pretend like we were Bon
you were
Jovi.
somebody big, right?
And that was
That's
the
awesome.
funny part. That was the
So
whole
funny.
humor. Ted Nugent, he opened up for my band.
Oh,
Okay?
come on.
Yeah, he came in, and Mr. Detroit, right?
Yeah,
Right,
City
that's
Man,
my
man.
Detroit man right there.
Ted Nugent comes to town to open for my band, and he's like, who am I opening for? What? I don't get it. He went out, he opened for the band, and then, now this is a guy that swings in a loincloth across the stage.
Yeah, Mr. Wango Tango.
He stayed to watch my band, and he goes, I get it now.
That's
He was
awesome.
laughing his ass off. He goes, I get it now.
That's great.
That is really awesome. Well, Dave, thank you so much. Once again, let's plug your double wide network. I mean, if folks want to contact you, reach you to do some business, because radio just doesn't happen for free. It doesn't. And when you're doing any kind of multimedia, any outreach, anything where you're speaking to somebody, generally you need to have some backers and some promotional friends helping you out.
Absolutely. And I love you for this opportunity. Thank you very much. It's really simple. Just doublewidenetwork.com.
Oh, that's easy.
Doublewidenetwork.com.
All spelled out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, doublewidenetwork.com. If you mention Brad or Len, we'll charge you double. If you mention Brad or Len, we will give you a urine test when you get off the elevator.
Oh, Lord. That's funny. I
He
have
does
a
know
urine
us.
test business on the side. Don't laugh. That is a true fact. I really do. I sell urine drug tests. That is no joke.
Oh, really?
He's a man
Yes.
of many businesses.
Yeah,
I only can
I'm an
focus on one.
entrepreneur. That's how come I ended up in this craziness.
But I really appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
Well, Dave, thank you. And that concludes that.
That was
Actually,
unbelievable.
That's the hat trick of our Mount
So
Rushmore.
now you can go change your panties, Lynn.
Yeah, well, thanks. Thanks a lot.
Hey, I just want to say, if you guys don't deserve it,
You're listening to Wild Jokers. Don't go anywhere. Brad's Beat on the Street is on the way next.
Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Wild Jokers on 24/7 Comedy for Phoenix, 1260 AM, 96.1 FM.
It's Len from the Wild Jokers, and you know my battle cry is all about the small business person. And that's why I endorse Casa Grande Jewelry and Pawn. Some of the finest jewelry you ever want to find. If you need an engagement ring, wedding band, watches, necklaces, firearms, ammunition, power tools, you name it, they got it at Casa Grande Jewelry and Pawn. 1326 North Pinal Avenue in the heart of Casa Grande, or call 520-836-7774. Once again, that's 520-836-7774.
Autobahn Mortgage, 602-980-LOAN. That's 602-980-5626. Call Autobahn Mortgage for all your commercial and residential mortgage needs. We are friendly, fast, and efficient. 602-980-LOAN. You can also see us on the internet, www.autobahnmortgage.com. Call us today, 602-980-LOAN. 602-980-5626.
And it's that time once again for Mr. Brad Manhoff to beat the street, because that's what he does. So, Brad, you know what to do. Start beating it.
So, it's amazing to me how big cities are always trying to bring the law enforcement and the people together,
Will that ever happen?
Well, I'm going to tell you a funny story. So just recently, actually, I think it was over the weekend, the New York the police department decided that they wanted to do a thing where users could post pictures relating to the police. So they were hoping they were going to get like some kind of selfies with like the meter maid or a selfie with the guy directing traffic.
I can only imagine.
So guess what they got?
What do they get?
Well, just about every person sent in stuff about police brutality.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, it totally backfired.
So bottom line, it's sort of like the videotaper of Rodney King in Los Angeles.
Well, here's
People
an
were just
example. Like
basically-
this, they had one of them tweeted a picture of an old man that got beat up for jaywalking.
When that was
Yeah,
reality?
he got arrested. Yeah, he got arrested, and his face was all bloody and everything because the police like pinned him to the ground. And
See, that's not cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one thing. Remember the old television show Adam 12?
of course,
What
one Adam
happened-
12, one Adam 12.
What happened to guys like that were beating the street? You know, when it came to that, you know, those are the good old days.
It's because the gangsters have more stuff to shoot at them
I
with now. That's
guess
the problem.
it's gotten all.
But you know what the funny part
Screwy.
about the story is that the spokeswoman for the NYPD says the uncensored and open dialogue was good for the city, and I'm thinking,
I'm sure it was.
yeah, real good. Yeah, come to New York and get beat up if you walk across the street and you're not in a crosswalk.
Well,
good.
but that's the one thing nowadays. Everybody's got to be so careful because everybody's walking around with a camera or a video camera.
Yeah, so needless to say, it was the Occupy Wall Street guys that tweeted one of the cops battling protesters.
Wow.
Yeah, so there was a couple of them that kind of surfaced. That was like, oopsie.
Not good for New York PR right now.
Yeah, not real good.
All right,
Not
what
real
else do we got? Okay.
Okay, so, normally when you're in the hospital, you get pretty good drugs.
Do you?
Well, I mean, if you're sick and you need them, I mean,
Oh yeah, I'm sure you do.
Right,
I mean, knock on wood. I've been lucky.
Right. I mean, I had
knocked on-
pmonia, and they gave me some pretty crazy stuff.
Did you
'cause
have to stay the night?
I stayed 4 nights.
Okay, here's the thing. I had a toe injury in Flagstaff. My toe swole up, and it just basically was like a staph infection that hit my toe. This was a couple months back in Flagstaff. I had an injured toe from a hockey
Which
injury.
toe was it?
A big toe.
Okay.
The nail got shattered off from a hockey puck.
Yeah.
So it's all irritated. So it got some kind of staph infection. So anyways, we had to, because my foot was just killing me. I took my cowboy boot off, and I'd see this red line going up. Now get this one. This is a foot injury, and this is pertaining to your story. You know, I'm going to sidetrack.
All right.
Okay, this is the hospital thing. I have a foot injury. It's on my toe. My toe.
That's
It's
only where foot
toe.
injuries are.
Right. It's only my toe.
Right.
Just remember this. It's
Yeah,
only toe. Now, mind you, they said, okay, here's this hospital gown because I'm in this emergency room in Flagstaff.
Right.
They made me disrobe, take everything off, and I wear Wranglers, so I wear no underwear. Of course,
I didn't know that, but I don't need to know that.
Well, now you know.
I'm
But
glad
no,
that-
this is how this.
thanks for
Michelle was
sharing
there.
that.
My
Thanks for
fiance
sharing.
Michelle was there, and this. Fortunately, I handed her my clothes, and it's not like she's never seen me, not nude before. But why in tarnations you go to a hospital? They want you to take all your clothes off for a toe injury. That is my question.
Well, I can probably answer it without really knowing the answer.
But also, by the way, when you don't wear undies, boy, does those hospital gowns get drafty.
Yeah, they do. And
Toledo.
every time you sit on something, it's awfully cold.
No, and I had to wrap myself around. It was it was a horrible scene. But why for a toe injury?
So here's what it is, bro. This is the bottom line. Especially because you had a staph issue or some kind of infection. It's because any kind of crud on your clothing could contaminate the area.
My toe?
Yeah, bro. Think about it. If
It's on the end of
you
my
had a little
body.
crud on your shirt and they're looking at your toe and all of a sudden a little crud falls off your shirt onto your toe.
Oh, come on. I wear flannel. Nothing's going to come. There's no crud on me.
I'm just saying, dude. Well, you're bucking hay and whatnot, so you could have a little piece of hay shard that could go in there.
Hay's not toxic.
Hey,
That's fine.
you never know, dude. I'm just saying.
But
It's a cleanliness
They
thing.
gave me a little painkiller, which was nice.
Yeah.
So that's going to your drug.
Okay, so you ready for
reference.
this?
Yeah.
So there was a lady. She was in the hospital for a couple days. She was, 38 years old.
Okay, my age for right now.
And she was selling heroin while she was in the hospital as a patient. Yeah. So check this out. So she was a patient at this at Western Pennsylvania Hospital.
So she's a patient. She should have gotten like a doctor's outfit. She could put
Well,
Dr. Feelgood.
here's the best part. She started selling it when she was in the intensive care unit, and then when they moved her to a regular room, she kept selling it. So
hold on. She's in ICU,
ICU
and
selling
she's
heroin.
peddling.
Selling heroin.
How can you be in ICU and be mobile?
Well, wait a minute. It gets even better. You're going to love this. So the police searched, right, and they found $3,800 in heroin and $1,400 in cash and a couple syringes in her room.
Well, I guess you're getting the syringes via the hospital. Maybe she's lifting those. But if she's in the ICU unit or intensive care where you're usually monitored, I don't understand how the heck you can be playing dope man. I just don't see this.
I don't know, but it's kind of interesting.
That's kind of an interesting little story there. Where is that out of?
That's in Pennsylvania, bro.
Pennsylvania.
That's Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
All the kooky stuff's going on back east there, Brett.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. An undercover informant bought $90 worth of heroin, and that's how they broke it. Yeah.
In a hospital.
In a
That's
hospital.
great.
Isn't that great? I think that's
my hospital story was rather unusual. I'm like, I don't understand why they're having me take my Wranglers off for a toe injury.
So here's a good one about police again. You're going to love this. So, police get a lot of bad rap, and people always say, oh, the cop did this, the cop did that, or whatever. And 99% of the time, the cop didn't do what people said because the people are just cuckoo and whatnot, right? So how about this? How about a police officer caught on video tripping people to keep them from rushing a crowd?
So you have brutality in one story, now you have
the picture. The picture. This is in Texas.
Okay, we're getting further to the west.
So
here.
in Central Texas, so there's the picture in this article. It's hilarious. It's a picture, literally, the cop with his foot out in front of him, and a chick walking in front of him, literally about to fall on her face. I mean, just stone cold busted. I mean, busted.
It could be a practical joke.
No practical joke. He got suspended. He's busted.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Just for tripping people?
Yeah. Well, what happened was,
would they deem that assault?
It was a high school soccer match, evidently.
Okay.
And the students were rushing on the field to celebrate, and this police officer just sticks out the old left foot and gives her a little.
I saw the photo.
Yeah, what are you gonna say? Oh, I'm stepping on a bug?
Well,
I don't think so.
Here's the thing, but
I don't think so.
In his defense, the kids were rushing the field.
In his defense,
dude,
you don't trip people like that.
Well,
I mean,
you don't rush the field either.
Well, so what
are they gonna do? Tear down the goalpost and take it through the quad?
All I'm saying is that they have so many other things they could do. That's just, I don't understand that.
Have you stormed onto a field like that?
Oh yeah, I went to a Big Ten school, man. We
I got
used to
a
rush
great
the field all the time.
See now, it was 1998. The Arizona Cardinals beat the San Diego Chargers to get the first time in Arizona history get into the playoffs as a wild card team to take on the Dallas Cowboys, and they beat them. I rushed the field.
Yeah,
I was there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we tried to get the goalpost down, and we couldn't get them through ASU's little tunnel deal. It was horrible. We had to put it down.
Right.
Yeah. So I did it too. So
I think the statute of limitations is up on that one.
But here's the thing: rushing the field, and everything. I think because they're probably charging so fast, the cops doing it because they're going to launch. And that's funny right there. That's all I have to say about that.
That's
I mean,
exactly
it's launching children. But they were like, high school. So they're like fully developed almost. So it's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's shading.
You think that's too far?
I think it's shading.
So, but I've only rushed the field one time, and all of ASU was doing it. So
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I went to Michigan State, as you know, and we've had some interesting times. And I remember back in the old day, we used to have the old school, goalposts that were like the H style, and those things used to come down pretty good. Once they switched to the more traditional, conventional ones they have now, it wasn't the same. You can't really get those down. But the old H-style ones back in the day, oh, man, those suckers used to come down. Every homecoming, they pull them down.
Interesting about ASU and their goalpost was you look around and you look at the tunnels and you look at the overview. How the heck did they get them in here is your question. Do they airlift them in because they would have had to have, or do they solder them in there?
No, they assemble them in place. They weld them right there on the field.
Yeah, they have to weld them right there because I'm sitting here going,
yeah,
you're trying to get it so you can run the goalpost down Mill Street.
Yeah, that ain't going to happen.
No,
without like a cutting torch.
Well, also
heck, you're not getting it with those into the game.
Well, also going down Mill Street and heading. Let's head for Hooters. That was the first thing I wanted to do. Let's take the goalpost to Hooters. What else is there to do?
Well, I got to ask you a question.
Sure.
Since we're, and normally we don't do this many stories, but I just happened to notice this. How about this guy who's looking on Google Maps and sees a picture of Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster?
I heard about this.
Yeah.
I saw it on the news.
Yeah. So this guy is kind of funny. And anyway, he says he's found proof now based on this sighting from a satellite picture. It's right on Google Maps.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you believe in Nessie?
I think, it's
there's
funny.
Something there?
I don't know that there's something there. I think there might have been something there at one time.
Okay.
But I think there's a group out there, clandestine group out there, perpetuating the hoax. Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay.
And I'm a big like conspiracy theory guy. Like I believe there's other people out there besides us and all that stuff. I'm real open to that stuff.
But if there's a Nessie, isn't there a Mrs. Nessie? I mean, what do you do?
The thing about the Nessie situation is that it's been reported for so many years. Okay.
Right.
How old can this thing get? How come with all the technology and the sonar technology and everything we have, how come with all these investigations they've never
come up with it?
I mean, yeah,
well, it could be hush hush top secret, you know.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess it could be Area
Could
51
be,
style.
it could
But
be like Roswell,
personally, I think part of the mystique of it and the people in that area, they like the drama that it causes.
I've always thought about Nessie in this way, and if Nessie's by itself, whether it be female, male, whatever it may be, whatever member it has. Wouldn't Nessie get lonely? I mean, what does Nessie do on Friday nights or perhaps Saturday nights?
I don't know.
Just Nessie just sits by itself. Remember, I was a recluse in Prescott for over a year, and
so what should we call you, Lessie?
No, I came off the mountain, and then I got back to normal society.
Oh, Lord.
But speaking of critters and whatnot, I got a quick one. I got to jump on your beat on the street here just for a second. This week, in a 24-hour cycle, get this one. I had a scorpion in my house. I had a 2-foot baby rattlesnake.
Welcome to the desert.
Outside of, I've been here for a long time.
I know.
That. And a swarm of bees attacked my citrus tree.
That's
right
like the
in front of my house.
trifecta right there.
What is going on? Wild Kingdom. I lived in rural Arizona.
Dude, it's because listen. You live in like God's lost country.
Oh, I do not.
Okay, yes, you
basically, it's Apache Junction.
Well, listen, Apache Junction is. Yeah,
it's East Mesa.
I was going to say you're like borderline, like New Mexico.
Come on.
I mean, seriously, you could throw a rock to the New Mexico border.
I
from
bank
where
up
you
to
are.
the superstitions. I know, but
anyway,
still.
you're in the middle of nowhere, dude.
Dude, when I lived up in Yavapai County, outside of Prescott.
Now
okay?
that's really the middle of nowhere. But I'm saying
no,
for
it was
this
the
part
middle
of
of
the
nowhere.
country,
But here's the thing: we never had swarms of things flying through the air, and you perhaps once in a while see a rattlesnake.
Well, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
We got to add one piece. You've got neighbors that are beekeepers, though.
Well, yeah, and the other bees keep coming over.
So that's part of your swarm problem.
Isn't that a little weird that your neighbors
It's a lot
like
weird.
bees? I mean,
it's a lot weird.
I just want to have a horse.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Right.
I want to just play cowboy.
That's
so
what
that's
she
my
said.
that's my news.
And
so be
okay.
careful out there. Swarms of bees, scorpions are everywhere, and we have rattlesnakes floating everywhere too. It's just craziness in Arizona. It really is. But hey, we have so many people to thank. Tommy Davidson, who joined us. Wild Horse Pass tonight to see him and David Allen Greer. Show starts, 7 o'clock? Doors open?
Doors open at 7. Show starts at 8.
Yeah, I got to go down. That's a great venue to go see a show. Very intimate. Every seat's a good seat. Mr. Dave Pratt as well.
The morning
there. Hanging out with him at his studio, which we definitely was very cool to check out. And just kind of go down memory lane in radio here locally in the Phoenix radio market. Also, Wild Joker Nights. I'm going to let you take the helm on that one this Tuesday.
Yeah, this Tuesday.
You know what's special about this Tuesday?
That's the one. It's your birthday.
Well, it's the roast.
I know. It's the birthday roast.
It's the birthday roast.
It's our first roast, first annual roast. I think we're going to probably make this an annual thing because nobody's more fun to make fun of than Len Nova.
I know.
It's too easy. You guys don't have
target.
any idea. It's so. I mean, half the time we're not even on there, and I'm like, really, Len? And he looks at me like, what? And I'm like, this is what? And then he's looking at me like, uh-huh. Yeah.
I don't know why I'm such an easy target, but
you
everybody
really
tells me that.
I don't know why.
Everybody always tells me that.
It's too bad because you are a nice guy, but you are one heck of a target, dude.
Yeah, right.
It's
well,
priceless.
if you want to see have some target practice, What the Hell Bar and Grill this coming Tuesday, April 29th. That, of course, is Sossman and Maine in East Mesa. And then Thursday, we're doing it again at Cactus Jackson, Ahwatukee. The world's largest cul-de-sac, Ahwatukee, Arizona. Definitely come on down. That is 40th Street and Elliott Road, and we'll be 7 to 9 that night. What the Hell Bar and Grill, of course, our comedy nights on Tuesdays, 8 to 10. So just to kind of, if you want to pencil it in your date book there. Special thanks also goes out to our new sponsor, Casa Grande Jewelry and Pawn. You can hear their spot all the time. We're going to be making some appearances out there from everything from engagement rings with their jewelry side to their pawn shop. They have firearms plenty. We got to thank them down in Casa Grande.
Yeah, I'm more interested in firearms than engagement rings right now.
Oh, yes.
Myself.
And that's another thing to finish up the show on a happy note. Yours truly is actually kind of locked into position with the lovely Michelle. She's not girlfriend, she's fiancé now.
And I got a bone to pick with you.
What?
I was on the phone with you about 17 minutes after you posted that on Facebook, and you didn't say a damn word to me. I had to go on Facebook and find out for myself. And yeah, I wished you well, but it would have been nice if you would have said something, bro.
You know what? Oh, your feelings are
I'm
hurt.
a little hurt.
I didn't say it to anybody.
I don't care. I'm your
say,
co-host.
I
dude.
understand.
I'm the next closest thing to your wife you got.
Did you know or not I was going to do that? Yes, you did.
I was aware. I will say I was part of the small crowd that knew it was even coming, so I got to at least take that. So, okay, yeah, I'll give give you that.
There's actually pretty much, other than my mother, no one knew.
Good for you.
I just kept that real
I'm just
quiet.
busting your chops. I'm
Because
really happy for you guys.
I actually, correction, Michelle's daughters did figure it out earlier in the week. They guessed it. And I didn't even tell it, but they had the biggest, goofiest grin. But it's a great day in my life. I think the second time's a charm, my friend. The second time's a charm. So, all right, next week is our flavor of Cinco de Mayo. We're going to be out at Apache Junction celebrating. It's going to be very interesting because this week we're going to be We haven't locked into place. I think we've got it done. Considering I'm the one who books all this stuff, George Lopez is going to be.
That'd be cool. He's a good guy.
Cool. All right.
Funny.
It is funny.
Yeah, you're funny.
Our website.
Our website. Go check out our website. I'm like, okay. Yeah, our website.
It's early for you, too.
TheWildJokers.com or Facebook.com/WildJokersRadio.
All right. For Brad, I'm Len. Have a great rest of the weekend. Hopefully we'll see you out at Wild Horse Pass tonight. We'll be out there. Until then, we'll catch you next week.